Couple of weeks ago, I tried to vibe code my way to building a SKU generator. And since then, I couldn't help myself. I've continued to tinker with it. And I wanted to share how far I've come. And remember, I did not have to do any coding to get this far. So let me present to you the Promo Pilot SKU Generator. This is a tool that I personally have always longed for because if you, like me, have ever managed tens of thousands of SKUs for company store programs, you may spend some amount of time generating the actual SKU variants. So that's like the product information plus the attribute information like color and size, right? You can do all that in Excel. That's fun. But I think this might provide some benefits. First, this is the home page. And before I show you anything, let's take a look at this help page here. And I want to point out that this application only uses local storage. And what that means is there's no database somewhere with your SKUs, there's no API calls being made. Everything is stored in your browser. Now, that does mean if you clear your cache, you are going to lose some settings, but there's a way to get around that as well, which I'll show you. But this help page just explains that data storage and then gives you some ideas and guides for using the tool. Let's now move over to the settings page. On the settings page, you will see there is a backup and restore option here. And this is how you can back up all of your settings. So over time, if you use this tool, you'll have attribute lists and presets that you may have spent some time setting up. You can download a backup of that so that if your local storage does get cleared or your cache gets cleared, you can very quickly upload all of your presets and attribute lists. But what is a preset? What is a SKU preset? I'll show you. If I click add new preset, I can define some parameters. So for preset name, let's say I'm working on the Nintendo company store program. I might call this preset Nintendo. And the prefix for any SKU related to this program might be NTD. Maybe my suffix is DK. I can choose a separator character. This is what separates the different bits of information in the generated SKU. And then I can also create a starting item number. So let's say the Nintendo program has been around for a while. I already have SKUs. The next item number in sequence is 1023. So let's create that preset. And now you can see I have my preset created. I can very quickly see what kind of format it's going to use. Let's create another one just for fun. Maybe I run a Microsoft program and that preset is or prefix is MSF, no suffix, and let's say we're starting at 1000. Create preset. Now here I can set a default preset, which might be convenient. All that does is automatically selects your default when you start a new project. You'll see that in just a moment. I can edit these presets if I need to. I can set a new one as the default, or I can delete a preset. So that's what a preset is. It's basically giving you some information for creating your SKUs. The next big part of any SKU is your attribute list. So by default, we have a couple of attribute lists, one for color and one for size. And the way these work is for color, you'll have a value like black, and then you'll have a code, BLK. Or for extra large, you have an option named extra large, and the code for that is XL. These codes are what get used when the SKU is generated. And here you can edit these lists if you wish. You can also create a new list if you want to. And so let's say I just found a bug and I'm going to fix that later. So I just gave a quick refresh. Let's add a new attribute list. All right, and maybe this one is material. And we'll say the first option is cotton. give it a code. You can either press enter or you can click this plus icon to add another option. And let's say the next one is polyester, right? And now I have a material attribute list. Okay, very fun. All right. Now that we have some attributes and SKU presets loaded up, let's create a new project. So first I'm going to give this a product name and we'll call it polo shirt. And because Nintendo is my default, it is already pre-selecting Nintendo. And I can see what the prefix, suffix, and separator are just in case I need a reminder. It is also loading the item number. So what's really cool about this item number is when I generate SKUs using this item number, the starting number for the Nintendo preset is going to tick up by 1 so that the next time I need to create a SKU for the Nintendo program, I don't have to remember what was the last number I used for the item number. Okay, with that top portion set, let's add some attributes for this shirt. Let's start with color first. It is going to come in black, blue, green, orange, and red. Add those selected options. If I need to update that, I can click this edit button and do that. And I'll add a size attribute. So let's do that. And this is going to be small, medium, large, extra large. Add those options. And so now down at the bottom, it's going to give me a preview of the SKUs that it's going to generate based on these attributes. And what's really neat about this is I can move these little pieces around. So if we need to show size in our SKU first instead of color, we can do that. And let's say we actually don't typically put a separator between size and color. I can click this X icon, and now that is gone. Okay, we're ready to generate some SKUs, so let's do it. All right, let's take a look at what was generated. Here we go. Here is a CSV opened in Excel. And I'll want to point out a couple of things. The product name that you specified is used in the file name. And then we also generate a product name using the product name that you provided, and then the display names for each code. That way you know this one is for the polo shirt black extra large. You may or may not use that in your ecom, but it's there if you need it. You can see the SKUs that we've generated. Lovely. As well as the attributes that apply to that. Awesome. So now that we have SKUs generated, you can see the next item number is 1024. If I refresh the page, if I go do something else, if I choose a different preset, that 1024 is going to be saved to the Nintendo preset. And also, I thought it would be really fun to have some stats. So as you use this tool, it will keep track of how many SKUs you've generated, under how many sessions, and then when the last time you used it was. Just a fun little gamification type thing. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with the way this is coming along. Noticed a couple of bugs that I can fix, but I think I can do it thanks to vibe coding. Okay, hope that was inspiring to you and that you try vibe coding out for yourself. There's a number of tools available, and I can't wait to hear about what you build. Thank you so much.